What is happening, my YT gang? Y'all already know what time it is. We are back with another one. And the Miami Dolphins has proven once again all of the naysayers right, in which they cannot win in that cold weather, man. They took an L against Green Bay Packers last night, 30-17, and my boy Stephen A had a whole lot to say. And we're about to get ready to take a look at what he said, but before we do, make sure you guys like and subscribe to this channel. That way, every time I drop something new, you guys will be the first one to be notified, you did. But let's go ahead and cut out small talk and see what my boy Stephen A had to say about the Miami Dolphins. Let go.
All right, Stephen A, I'm coming to you. Have you lost all faith in the Dolphins?
Hell to the yes. I mean, we all know what time it is here. First of all, first thing about the coach. You know what? I mean, we get to the quarterback too. But before we get to the quarterback, how about your coach don't look like he can handle the cold weather?
He looks
looking like
freezing.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Cold.
What the hell was that about? I mean, the cold weather, the cold, damn right it was. Listen, I know this. I'm not. Do I look like I want to be in the cold? Exactly. An undisclosed tropical location, my brother. The point that I'm trying to make to you is this. In the end, palm trees outside. I know my lane. You ain't see me in Green Bay in 23-degree weather. I ain't playing that, okay? But here's the reality, y'all. We're going to look at Tua Tagovailoa, right? And we know the brother can play. We know the brother has skills. They're 0-12 now in their last 12 games in 40-degree weather or less. 0 for 12. They're 4-0 against winning teams this season. 0-4 against winning teams, okay, with Tua in the lineup. Against winning teams, right, I'm looking at this right here. In games started, since Tua started last season, the Miami Dolphins are 14-1 against winning teams. 1-10 against losing teams. Now, obviously, some of those games were in inclement weather. Well, what's the problem with that? Let's look to the AFC. Everybody ain't the Chargers. That's L.A. We talk about Kansas City. Kansas City, January. We talk about Baltimore. It's cold. It's cold in January. We talking about Buffalo. It's cold. You understand? Most of the teams they're going up against, wherever you turn, it's going to be cold weather. And the Miami Dolphins have already shown us they worse than Stephen A. They ain't trying to feel the cold weather. I hear you, but I ain't playing in the NFL. They are. They should be doing better. They can't in cold weather. Of no chance, it's over for them this season.
The division.
Man, look here. Deal what I got to say about it, okay? Now, when it comes to Stephen A., some things he was saying was right. I think he mixed some stuff up and got something backwards. I think they 1-10 when it comes to winning teams. Now, they do got a better record when they playing against sorry teams, but they cannot get a win against great teams. That's just a fact, okay? Now, like he said, they are 0-12. 0-12. When they playing against teams under 40-degree weather. I mean, that's just unacceptable. I don't care if you from Miami or whatever case may be. You are in the NFL. You play in this weather every single year. And to have a record like that, it shows that when it comes to the playoffs, you guys will not be able to get a win. Why? Because most of those games are going to be played in cold weather. Now, the only way to change that narrative is to win the entire conference, my man. Not just your division. The conference. Sadly to say, but you in the AFC, my boy. You ain't playing against nothing but teams up on the north side. So the only teams that you're going to be playing in the playoff regardless are teams that are used to playing in the cold. So the Miami Dolphins got to do better when it comes to that, man. I do think they got a chance to still make it to the playoffs, all right? I mean, they, 5-7? They just got to win out. All right, which I don't think is going to be an easy task for them to do. Why? Because they very last 2 games, they have to go up and play in the cold. My gosh. Now, when it comes to the Jets, all right, that's cool. You got a chance. All right, that's 50-50. But when it comes to Cleveland Browns, man, that defense, I just don't know. I don't know. Another thing that hinders them, now I know Tua is a good quarterback, okay? I'm not going to say great yet. We all know what he can do. We know the skill set that he has. He can throw the ball. He's capable of doing certain things that a lot of quarterbacks in the league are not capable of doing, okay? He has a lot of weapons on his team, but all of that goes away when he plays in the cold. If you guys watch them, if you really pay attention to their offense, they never throw deep balls when they play in cold weather. I have never seen Tua go deep at all. I think the furthest he threw maybe was 20 yards last game. And even when he was making those type of passes, man, he was overthrowing, underthrowing. You look at a couple of passes he did to Tyreek Hill. He threw it at his feet. And then you look at a couple of passes that he threw to his tight end Smith. You know, he throwing them over his head. So, you know, one thing we know for sure, is that Tua is not comfortable. He's not accurate when it comes to playing in the cold weather. I mean, you get to going into the playoffs, well, you got to play against teams like Kansas City Chiefs. Now look, I will say this. The Green Bay Packers is one of the best teams in the NFC. But when you going up against teams like Kansas City Chiefs, the Ravens, Buffalo Bills, and you got to do it up there in the cold in January, I don't know. That offense is crippled. They just crippled. They don't get it done. Those 5-yard routes that they doing and all that good stuff is not going to work against somebody like Patrick Mahomes or Allen. Because one thing those teams are going to do offensively, they're going to score. And we all know that the Miami Dolphins is not going to stop those offenses, especially if they playing in the cold. Fun fact. According to NFL Next Gen stats, the Dolphins missed 20 tackles, directly leading to 132 additional yards for Green Bay. 20 tackles? Are you kidding me? You missed 20 tackles in one game. Unacceptable. That is very concerning. So for me, they can make the playoffs, but it's a lot of things that gotta happen for them to make it to the playoffs. But even if they make the playoffs, I don't see them winning not one single game. Especially if they got to go against one of those 3 teams that I named earlier. This is a team that needs to find a way to win. And they need to find a way to win in the cold weather specifically. Because if they don't, they'll never be contenders. And it don't matter how much talent they got on their team.